All right, gentlemen. So this is going to be lesson number 4. And this lesson is going to be titled The Battles That We Have Already Won. Now, this one, to a lot of people, it's not going to be obvious. And it was, again, it's not supposed to be obvious, right? But everything that we've been doing as a species has been to alleviate the pressure. And I know in most times it doesn't seem like it. But progress, unfortunately, is a very long and painful road. And it doesn't help when we have people constantly standing in the way of progress and pushing us backwards. But I basically created a little bit of a list of right? It's not a lot, but it's some of the accomplishments that we have made as a species, as a gender, right? Because it's mostly men that have been doing this. And we've been doing this to alleviate a lot of that pressure from the men's shoulders. So the first one will be providing women with the ability of financial independence, right? So now she can go buy her own home, she can go get her own job, she can do whatever she wants, right? And it's on her, it's not on me. I no longer have to build her a house. I no longer have to buy her a house. I no longer have to do anything financially for her, right? It's no longer demanded of me by society. And believe it or not, they used to be demanded, right? So like now, right, the girl or the woman turns 18, the father and the mother can kick her right the fuck out the house and then let her, figure things out on their own. Before you couldn't do that, right? Before you couldn't kick her out of the house until what? Until she was married. So you had to go and find some sucker to take her, right? And in most cases, guess what? That sucker would have been somebody like you or me. So that is no longer an option. So there's one success, right? You're not burdened by taking a $600,000, $700,000 loan to buy her a house. You don't have to buy her a car. You don't have to pay for her college education. You don't got to buy her clothes. She can do all of that on her own with her own money and her own time. You can focus on living your life and getting your financial situation set up. Very different. It may not seem like it, but it's an enormous step forward for men. Education, obviously, we just talked about it. The next one, I would say military service. And this is probably one of the most important ones, right? And that is the military, where now men are not the only ones dealing with the burden of protecting a nation. Women are in the military force. They're also sharing on that in that same burden, right? For thousands of years, men were the only ones going and dying in battle, right? Now, don't get me wrong, women and children were dying as a result of those battles, but they were not direct combatants. And so the idea is that in the event, and you might say, well, how does this help me, right? Because Fox News tells me that women being in the military is a horrible idea. Well, fuck Fox News, man. Fox News would love nothing more than to see dead men coming back home. Okay, because that's exactly what they're saying when they say stupid stuff like that. So the best way that I can put it is think of this as a hypothetical war. Pardon me, I'm still sick. So in a hypothetical war, you have 10,000 soldiers, that lost their lives. Okay. I- in your typical situation, that would result to 10,000 men losing their lives. But by getting women to be in there 50-50, what that means is that only 5,000 men statistically would lose their lives. The other 5,000 would be women, which they would share on that in that burden. Now that is important because could you imagine what society would do when they see 5,000 caskets, coming back home, and the bodies in there are women, right? Society is going to think twice about going to war, and they are going to use other alternatives to physical combat. which then would save more lives of men. Mobility, right? Obviously, this is a massive one. In some countries, it's still not a thing, right? She can go anywhere she wants. There's no babysitting. She doesn't have to have a man be by her to protect her virtue, as if she ever fucking had any virtue. Family. Think this one. This one is massive, believe it or not, right? Okay. Men are starting to get alimony payments. Men are starting to get child support. Things that were completely unheard of. What? 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Men are also finally starting to use surrogacy and becoming their own fathers without ever getting married or starting or getting into a long-term relationship. These are all freedoms that we are gaining. These are all small battles that we are winning. But it's a slow process. And it's not a visible process. Okay? It's not visible. But if you know to look for it, you will see it. And when you have people that stand in the way of this, right? Because that's what they're using. You will see, you will see conservatives, you will see tradcons, you will see all of these people, right, including women, right? You will see them using the idea, right, that I am not a man because I didn't go to war and fucking die. No, I'm not a fucking man. I'm a bitch. You damn right I'm a bitch. I'm not going to war. Right? I got bone spurs, motherfucker. I'm not going to war. Okay? I'm not going to fucking die. Not while you sit home and fuck the mailman or the call or the milkman. Other thing, men, right? Think about it. Men used to have to work in a factory, provide a woman and their children with housing, clothing, shelter. I guess that's housing, vacations, cars, all that stuff, right? Food, blah blah blah, and provide her with sexual pleasure. You don't gotta do any of that shit today. Before, if you didn't fucking do that shit, society would abolish you. You could not be within a community because they didn't want you there. Right? And why didn't they want you there? Well, because you're a bachelor. That means you can go and fuck all their wives. These are all wins. Okay. Now these are the wins that we've been fighting for a very long time. I've found evidence from books from the 1700s, early 1700s, where men were talking about doing this. Our founding fathers attempted to do exactly what I'm telling you, to give women and to give African Americans their civil rights and to make all people equal. But society would not allow it. And so they couldn't. Okay. There's a famous letter that Abigail Adams writes to John Adams, her husband, right? And she threatens this motherfucker. She tells him, right, as they're getting ready to, draft the Declaration of Independence and draft what do you call it, Constitution. She tells him, right, that think of the ladies. If we don't get what's owed to us, we will burn this country down. Right? Obviously, that didn't happen. It took a very long time for us to achieve that goal. But the one thing that everybody needs to understand, right, is that MGTOW is not about enslaving people. It's about freeing people. And if we can free others, we will free ourselves. Now, I know there's a large number of people out there, including men and women, who would rather see people be subjugated, all so they can have unfiltered, unedited, unquestionable access to pussy. They want to go back to a time where they can beat their wife, they can rape her, they could do whatever they want and nobody could say a thing. And that's not going to happen. Okay? That's not what progress looks like. We're not going to do that. It's never coming here. There is no mythical 50s. That shit does not exist. It only existed in movies. Okay? And it only existed for a marginal number of people that were very well to do. That same 1950s exists today. But 99% of you will never achieve that. So there's no point to thinking about that. The battles and the wins are constantly stacking in our favor. And while they may not look like it, right? Because we're not, because the way that we're winning these battles is it's different. Because most people look at winning a battle as basically I win by taking you down. But they're not looking at it in a way where I don't have to take you down. I get rid of the thing that is holding us both down. In 2026, society now accepts 50-50. You don't have to, you no longer have to pay to take a woman out on a date. And the ones that do, fuck those people. Okay? There's regressive assholes everywhere. But there are plenty of women that will pay for her own dinner if you are the one that wants to go and date. That is a win. Before MGTOW took off, you couldn't do that. Right? Your mom, your dad would laugh at you, but now everybody just expects it. It's just a norm, right? It's 50-50. That's normal. Everybody's an adult. That's a win. The pressure has come off the men's shoulders immensely over the last 5 or 8 decades. And this stuff that you're seeing today is a culmination of the efforts of the men that started this progress, right? The men's rights movement. It really took off in the 40s after the men started coming back from World War II. But it's not going to be an overnight thing. And the winning is not going to be what a lot of you think winning is. It's going to be slow, right? It's going to be slow. It's going to be painful. It's going to take decades. And some of the things may not happen for centuries. But that's just the way